¿Cómo fue no solo la experiencia, sino también el poder discernir un personaje tan característico como lo fue en Flasher? Algo enigmático.
Ron, we are going to start with you, so later we can have Jhon in the set, and we want to know, going back early in your career with Flasher, with that short film, how can you describe the dynamics with this performance in this? So just for an starting and going back to that early project in your life.
Yeah, Flasher was it was a great experience, actually. It was directed and produced by a friend of mine, Charles Blake. And it was really the first short film that was I suppose, a budgeted and professionally crewed short film that I was on. And it was quite intimidating for the first film. There was a nude scene and, doing this painting around the place to opera music while naked, which was kind of, it was pretty intimidating for your first sort of first short film. So, but I had a great time with that, and the film did quite well. It picked up several awards, and I picked up an acting award at the New Filmmakers Awards here in Queensland, which was great, and the audience choice as well. So it was great. It was a very accessible film, but quite intimidating for me. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And it worked out well because it was like a start for a great career. And I feel so bad because, yes, I do know you. I watched some of your movies. In fact, I had watched Die Hard and all the movies, but because I was so confused, because Jhon didn't tell me, I was like, is that Ron? Yes, is that Ron Kelly? Okay, I will translate. Jhon, le está pidiendo disculpas, obviamente, claro que sé quién es él, y te cuento así como en Starter. Si viste Flasher, tú sabes muy bien que fue un proyecto complejísimo porque incluía un desnudo. Imagínate en un primer proyecto y que tú empieces con un desnudo. Incluía una cuestión con ópera, incluía una cuestión incluso con pintura, pero tú sabes que ese proyecto fue el gran inicio para una carrerota, que por cierto le está diciendo a Ron que obviamente sé quién es él y todo, y que me disculpara, pero yo creo que es un buen inicio. Dale.
Por supuesto, además, bueno, le comento yo a Gran y a Mary, porque sabe que, bueno, el trabajo no solo, que más adelante Jhon entra, que el trabajo se centra en el terror, pero también en el dragón, que se centra en Waste. Waste es una de las historias que obviamente trascendió luego, por supuesto, de lo que es sus inicios en Flasher, pero también en Waste hace como una enigmática historia de cómo el ser humano trata como de percibir el mundo. ¿Qué considera para él la evolución que ha tenido el mundo en el cine?
We know that in Waste, it's sort of like a film that talks about how we see the world, So, starting out from this role, yes, how do you see the world now? I know it's a crazy question, but it's linked with that project that you can talk, of course, about Waste. Go ahead.
I might just ask for a bit of clarification, not because of you, it's because it started to rain very heavily here, and I'm finding it difficult to actually hear you at the moment. It's absolutely bucketing down here at the moment.
Don't scare me, because here in Colombia it's raining hard. And I was watching the news in Brazil too. Oh, no, we want to know more about your role in Waste. How do you see the world? Because it's a movie that talks about the perspectives that we see about life and the world. So tell us about that role and about the world.
Waste was one of those little projects that came out of nowhere, a low budget feature film. What I think is important about Waste is it was a great little film, a lot of fun. I only had a small role in it, but it was a lot of fun to be involved with, and it was also a launching pad for an Australian actor out of Brisbane called Damien Garvey, and Damien has a vast body of work now, but he's first, I suppose, I think it was actually his first film role was Waste. So if there's anything, looking back on Waste, I see it as an important film because it helped launch. Well, it helped launch a number of careers. It was the first full-length film that I was involved with, and as I said, Damien Garvey absolutely stole his scene in that. But it was just, I've been involved in a lot of independent films in Queensland, and the one thing I will say is that like back in the early part of the 21st, listen to that, the early part of the 21st century, there was a lot of independent films getting made in Brisbane, where before then it was, if there was one independent feature that went on a year, you were lucky. And if you could get involved in it, you were luckier. You were one of the chosen few. But now, Brisbane's got, it might have, 3, 4, 5 independent films coming through every year. So there's a really energetic little independent scene in Brisbane, and a lot of them have been doing quite well. There's a lot of good actors, directors, DOPs, editors who are coming out of the independent film industry in Queensland. So I think it's I'm absolutely honoured to be involved in being a part of that. And I did about one a year, I think, for about 5 years. Things like The Horseman, Crooked Business, Nice Package, Suicide Theory, Burns Point, all of those sort of films, and they were so good to be involved in. I love independent films because they don't have the weight of the studios behind them. The weight is on this little group of creative people. Every favour they've pulled together, every penny that they could put together, and the best bunch of people they could get together for the money and resources they had. And I think the quality of the work that's come out has been very high. I don't think there's none of the films that I would be embarrassed to say that I was involved with. So I love the independent films. I really do. I suppose that's really where I came from as well. So I felt comfortable with that, starting with Waste, which was the first one of those sort of films that I was involved in. So, and it's so raw, it's so energetic, it's so emotional, because they're high stakes for the people who are making these films, but not the same high stakes as studio films, where the studio films are looking at it from a monetary point of view. Independent films, it almost comes from a soul and value sort of direction. People have invested their hearts and souls as opposed to their pocketbooks and their bank accounts into the film. But they do that as well. They take loans off their parents or mortgage their houses, anything they have to make a film. And when you've got people who are willing to go to that sort of degree to bring out a passion project, that's why everyone's got to hop on board. I think that's part of the energy of independent films that I really love, because there's more at stake than just money. There's, people's lives. Some people have invested 5-10 years in some of these projects. So to be on board with one of those projects, it's just it's fantastic. I love it. Yeah.
How is this going, the storm? No, but Ron, I will translate. Jhon, welcome. I will translate something from Ron, and of course we will do the full interview with all of you. Jhon, and Ron, before I translate, I feel great to listen that answer, because we had the lot in this channel to get a lot of people that works in the indie industry from England. And it's great to know how was like the beginning from that, we can say, from that movement, and to know how has grown. So it's great to have you here, both of you, by the way. Ok, no, John, es que lo increíble de Waze es que, hombre, creo que tú viste el elenco y creo que tú viste el director. Fue como el primer gran trabajo de todos. Y te tengo un dato que, pues, que lo resume todo. Sabes muy bien que hemos tenido la suerte acá de tener mucha gente de Inglaterra. Tú sabes, nuestros amigos.
Señor.
Hombre, pues extrañamente, ahorita se están haciendo, él lo dijo, como 5 películas al año digamos, en zonas, ¿no? En zonas. Antes, créame que era es que un proyecto y de vez en cuando, y los directores tenían que incluso hipotecar las casas y todo. O sea, digamos que Waze es uno de estos proyectos que muestra cómo fue el inicio de todo lo que es la movida independiente de Inglaterra. O sea, imagínate. Y que gracias a eso tuviste el montón de proyectos que él hizo después. Eso fue como una movida. Bueno, ¿qué orden es tuyo?
Bueno, Ron, hay que agradecerle por esta grande respuesta. También bienvenido, welcome, Jhon, porque acá iniciamos una entrevista completa. ¿Por qué? Porque en el universo de Mary and Grant habla sobre no solo los vampiros, habla sobre cómo las amistades se convierten en algo sobrenatural en el sentido de tener una mente abierta. ¿Por qué? Porque iniciando por Jhon en Fuera de Tiempo, ¿sí? Que fue uno de los primeros trabajos de él más importantes, en el sentido de que cómo las amistades y también las relaciones de pareja llevan más allá de un mundo de, de que el amor a veces puede sonar un poco tétrico. Y también eso va incluido, por ejemplo, no solo en Dar Army, sino también en The Guy. Yo quisiera preguntarle a Ginés, para usted, ¿qué considera qué cambio, qué trascendencia tiene la amistad en el cine, pero más, por qué es importante el terror en las personas?
Okay, finally we got all of you, because this is like, and it's crazy, it's like the first time that we got a lot of people from a lot of backgrounds to talk about projects, but Genius is for you. We are going to start talking about all the time, but mixing it with, I feel, I want to run because yes, I got both bumper line, but I got my boot from the guy so far from me, because this subject of, let's say, about friendship somehow, like dark friendship, is not only taken in this short film, but in books like the guy. Like, yes, we know that is there are battles, there are blood, but somehow they're like a friendship between these people doing this stuff. So yes, how do you see this subject of friendship in Out of Time in your short film?
And Mary?
No, Out of Time. One of your first short films.
Oh, out of Time. Wow, that's why I was so confused.
It's so ahead of time. Out of Time and so ahead of time. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I was so confused. That's one of my very first short films I ever did. That came about because I moved to LA as a musician and did that for the first number of years I was here. Because we had a deal with Capitol Records, so I moved from Chicago with my guitar player, and that's what I was doing there. But I'd gone to film school, and film has always been a love of mine. And I just took a break from music for a little while to make a couple short films, and that was, I don't even know how many years ago, and never went back. So just kind of went back to music, and so I've just been kind of making films since then.
And I want to ask you, Jhon, déjame preguntarle esto. If I don't ask you this, in fact, I invite some people, they are not here, I don't know why, because there are fans from Human Drama, from Jhon Indovina, and I know, of course, I'm a fan of both from Jhon and from Human Drama, and of course I watched 7 Days in Mexico. I want to ask for my friends, and I hope they log on soon, how this artistic relationship began, because I saw the music videos that you did, and why is the importance from Mexico? Because one of my friends tell me, oh, you're going to interview Jhon. It's crazy because the career from Johnny is more known in Mexico. In Mexico, he's a legend. He's like, Human Drama, Jhon Indovina. Tell me.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. He is kind of, I had no idea until we went to Mexico. Start going there, like how well received he was there. I met Johnny years and years ago. I was a fan of his music already. And then the promoter in Chicago booked my band to open for Human Drama. And so I met Johnny then, and he have kind of always just stayed friends over the years. And when I moved to Los Angeles, he and I, kind of just continuing our friendship. I did several music videos for him and everything. And he and I were out for coffee one day, and he was telling me about the struggles he was having as being an artist and creating, and versus the business side of it, where every time you put out a record, you have to sell so many copies in order to pay your rent. You have to sell out so many tickets at a show, and how that was really affecting him. And as an artist, you know, I think everyone can relate to that, you know, whether it's music or painting or drawing or filmmaking. At some point, the business side gets overwhelming and kind of takes you into a place where you don't want to be, because it starts affecting the art. It starts affecting the creative side of it. And so he didn't know what he was going to do. And he basically said to me, if I'm not doing music, I don't know that I have a reason to be on this earth anymore. He's like, I'm too old to go learn another job or anything else. This is the only thing I know how to do. And he wanted to try and figure out a way to find his love for music again. And he said, I think what I want to do is just go to Mexico, because it's one of my favorite places to go, not tell anyone I'm coming, not tell the label I'm coming, there is no pressure. I just want to go with my guitar. And if I feel like playing that day, I'll play. And if I don't, then I don't play. There's no agenda. There's no reason for me to be there. And I was like, that sounded like a great documentary. And it took a little while, but I convinced him to let me and one other person kind of tag along and just document the whole time we were there. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Like it was only about 2 days before it started spreading around social media that Johnny was in town, and they were always trying to figure out where he was going to be and why he was there. Is he doing a show and this and that? And it got a little hard to kind of keep it kind of on the down low and to actually let Johnny do his journey. But I think we pulled it off.
It was a great film. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
Beautiful. And I got two quick questions. What is the name of your band, Jhon? I want to know it. I didn't know about that date.
The band, I don't have it. I'm not doing it full time anymore, but it was called Faded. The Faded. THEFADED. The Faded.
The Faded. Got it rock?
It was kind of alt rock, kind of alt rock. Cure meets AFI, maybe something like that.
Oh, I freaking love it. In fact, someday I will tattoo the cover from that album from AFI, Sin the Sorrow. And I really love that duet that Johnny did with Eli Guerra, man. But okay, this is like
we're shooting another video with him. We were just shooting the other night, like last Tuesday. So.
Oh, cool.
Thank you, because Jhon, exclusiva, va a grabar un nuevo video. No voy a traducir más, pero va a grabar un nuevo video con Jhon Indovina. Cumpliste un sueño y seguimos acá con estas leyendas. I'm telling Jhon, I don't know how he managed to get 4 legends, Ron, the Workmans, and you in the same place. It was crazy. No, go ahead.
I could text Johnny. You could jump on.
Oh, yes. It will be. No. Go ahead. Jhon, dale.
Yo quisiera preguntarle a Ron, vea que esto va conectado como, no sé, eso va como un multiverso del terror, pero también en mafias, porque sabemos de que, bueno, en Vampire en The Guy, siempre hay como esa secta, siempre hay esos grupos. Pero me pareció increíble poder ver el cortometraje de la trilogía de David Michael. Oh, man. Yo cuando vi en cómo se evoluciona la mafia en el cine, pero no de personas normales, sino de personas que tienen poderes mucho más allá de las emociones. Yo quisiera preguntarle algo, ¿cómo es que las personas puedan connotar que las emociones a veces pueden desarrollar poderes sobrehumanos?
That's a great question from Jhon, from Ron. Ron, please don't go away. I hope the storm get calmed, because Jhon watched the trilogy from Devilmaker, and it's crazy because, yes, the work that all you may kind of talk about, like secret societies, moths, and yes, in fact, Jhon wants to know, talking about, of course, that amazing trilogy, how somehow we can say the mob or this society developed in people some kind of supernatural or powers or stuff. I don't know. I think the question goes more about the subject, about David Michael, and of course being you in this trilogy that is like a cult trilogy now.
Yeah, it was the very interesting trilogy to be involved in, especially with the 3 films being made in such diverse different ways and styles. Playing an Irish mob boss, I suppose, was a lot of fun for me. And just I suppose a little bit of trivia, film trivia for you as well. In the main scene with me when we're torturing the young fella in the chains, there's an older gentleman in that scene as well, and his name is Colin Peterson. Colin was actually a childhood film star. A film came out in Australia in 1956 called Smiley. I don't expect any of you from overseas to have heard of that one. But it was I suppose an American version of it would be Huckleberry Finn. It was that sort of a character from the 1920s. And Colin hadn't done anything for 50 years. He ended up becoming a musician. He was the original drummer when the Bee Gees were a band in England. So he had 2 international careers, one as a child actor and then one as a Bee Gee. But Colin is a friend of mine. We go back a few years, and it was a matter of there was one line that was allocated for this gentleman in the scene, and I said to the director, I've got this mate of mine. he's pretty keen to do it. So we got Colin in. So it was just, it's the first film appearance that Colin had made in 50 years. So for Australian film history, to have Colin involved in that film as well was amazing. But that the whole experience with Devil May Care was very intense. It was very intense, sort of set up. I'm quite amazed at your knowledge, to be quite honest, about about these films. And I think the directors and the writers of these projects would be very, very chuffed to know that you've heard of them at least. Yeah.
It was on there.
Jhon and myself sometimes, because I only the translator, we do our job, and in fact the goal from this channel is to showcase these projects, because yes, sometimes people want to see the big shiny ones, but we show here the talent and how every form of art or cinema is made. And I will tell Jhon, yo sé que no voy a traducir, pero hay 2 datos. Primero, él está sorprendido de que tú hayas visto esta trilogía, que obviamente es increíble, sobre la mafia irlandesa. Y hay un dato buenísimo, es que ahí está Colin Peterson, y Colin Peterson, él no había aparecido en una película hasta que hizo Smiley. Él fue baterista de los Bee Gees, y aquí fue el regreso. Después I promise to translate everything to Jhon later, but dale, Jhon.
Yo quiero hacerle una pregunta a Gren y Mari por fin, y es,
Ajá.
yo sé que en el libro de Guy, pero también se menciona algunas partes de Vampire Line sobre el nuevo miembro de la guía, Eddie Laidlaw. Creo yo que yo cuando me estuve leyendo esa partecita del libro, me mencionó mucho, primero, a lo que está haciendo primero Jhon. Jhon lo que hace es en The Nightmare Gallery, que es algo totalmente sobrenatural, pero a la vez de fuerza de emoción, y también en Jhon, que se me hace un poco parecido a Eddie en el sentido de la madurez y todo. Entonces quisiera yo preguntarle a Gren y Mari, ¿cómo es poder contrastar o diferenciar la edad entre los personajes, entre los protagonistas, para que, o sea, nunca, no solo envejezcan, sino que nunca pierdan la esencia?
Great question from, now we got the great Workman, Mary and Grant, because Jhon wants to know, and it's crazy because we know that the guide sometimes is linked to projects like the Nightmare Gallery from Jhon, but Jhon will talk later. Yes, how do you manage, like in characters like Eddie Laidlaw, to differentiate, because we know that these characters lead so many ages, but in fact they never lost their essence. How do you build that? I know it's a crazy question, but I know you got the answer.
Okay. First, Mr. Kelly, nice to meet you. Mary and I, we know Gene, we know the other two guys here. I never
Nice
met
to
you,
meet
but
you.
nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you too.
As far as the guide and Eddie Laidlaw, if I'm understanding the question, you're asking, how does he stay current? Am I misunderstanding the question?
How do you manage? Because we know that there are characters that lead many ages. How do you, as a writers, maintain like their essence? Because they lead for many ages, but they never lose their essence. Yes.
Okay. Most of the characters in the guide are older vampires. They've been around for centuries. Eddie in that story, Eddie has just become a vampire. So he's only 30 years old, 30 something years old. I don't remember the exact year, but he's only like 30 years old. So he doesn't have those centuries of past, that the others do.
He's brand new.
He's a brand new vampire.
He was brought into the guide by one of the vampires. That's what the guide is. They bring people who are turning vampires into the guide.
One of the things in guide that I don't have in any of my other vampire stories is that in the guide, all of vampire, everybody has that DNA. It's in everybody's.
Including you guys.
It isn't set by curses or by being bitten. It is your DNA, and either you turn into a vampire or you don't. But they still remain hidden from society, so that society doesn't know that you have these vampires out there.
They feed, but not like normal vampires. That's what the guide is. They have certain people that are at the guide location, which is in Colorado, and they actually let them feed on them to a certain extent, and they're part of the guide.
Because I am still reading it, it's great to know that, and it's great to know that we, Jhon, Ron, and Jim, we are part of the guide. Yes, Jhon, somos parte de guide.
Yeah.
Talking about Power State, of course, with Christopher Summers.
There it is.
How we can get, I don't know, differentiate, I don't know if is that the right word, and all the kinds of justice, because we know that this short film deals with justice, but sometimes justice is we got these different visions from it. So tell us more about Power State and about the subject of justice.
Power State is very specifically pointed at a Queensland situation. We had a politician in the 70s and early 80s called Joh Bjelke-Petersen, and he was known for being, I suppose these days you would say, very right-wing. He was the National Party, which represents the farmers, but he had a very sort of severe and right-wing approach to things, and also wasn't afraid to pass money around in brown paper bags. And he also utilized the police as a weapon against the people. He used them as a weapon against political enemies. No one was, it's nothing like, the Eastern Bloc during the Cold War or anything like that. It wasn't anything like, but for Australia, for Queensland, there was definitely a feeling of a police state here, and which no one liked, and it ended up leading to his downfall as well, because people just had enough. But Power State, using the police to break up the power of the unions. And we see now that unions essentially have lost a lot of their powers. I think the film really captured that well for Queensland. I wouldn't know how that would really translate to an overseas audience. The fact that you've seen it is great, but it was a very personal film for Queensland in Australia, a state of Australia, and a particular time in our history when You know, the police were used as a weapon against the people, against the unions, against the opposition, political opposition, the whole lot. It was a very, very difficult time in Queensland history. Yeah.
And it's crazy because I had watched sometimes I watch a lot of films from England, but the whole kingdom, the whole United Kingdom, and that subject still is a very delicate subject because I had watched, for example, this movie Bloody Sunday, which talks about, of course, the killing from the IRA, and I want to talk about this. I feel, because we live that in Colombia also, when I saw videos from that kind of movies, sometimes the people fight in the comments, but it's I don't know. You can answer me with your face like that. That problem is still happening in the UK. That's harsh, but we got cinema to showcase it. Jhon, es que es fuerte, después te traduzco, pero es que habla de un caso donde la policía se usaba como arma contra el pueblo, algo que pasó en Queensland, digamos que es la película, el corto más personal de Queensland, como estado, pero eso sigue sucediendo, después te digo todo.
Yo le pregunto esto, la verdad le agradezco, perdón, porque todos están en una, porque a veces la psicología y el tema, que a veces lo terrorífico puede superar la realidad, porque esta pregunta va para Jhon, hay 2 cortos de él, que eso también me lo debe responder Granny Mary, porque en The House se trata sobre los sueños. Yo le voy a confesar algo a Jhon. Yo tuve un sueño en el que a mí me clavaron un cuchillo grande y yo caminé hasta el hospital.
Oh my God.
Entonces, eso también se me hace similar a lo que es, obviamente, la otra contraparte, que es la otra película que es en Visions, de que me preguntaban, ¿qué te pasó? No lo sé. Yo guardo mi secreto. Entonces, quiero preguntarle a él, ¿qué tanto ha influenciado el cine sobre guardar los secretos? Y también, ¿qué tanto los sueños pueden ayudar a las personas a de pronto a salvar sus vidas o de pronto como una premonición? Y no, yo felicito a Granny Mary porque en Vampire Line lo que hace es no solo saber el rejuvenecimiento, en saber de que los pensamientos son aún más fuertes si lo hace jóvenes, y también en The Guy, me encanta The Guy, ¿por qué? Porque los vampiros o toda esa unión no se conocen, pero la gente sí conoce de ellos. Por favor, ilustra.
This is an amazing question, and it's for you, Jhon, but of course for the grants. But before I make it, I feel great to get this t-shirt about Dracula, so I feel great knowing that I'm part of the guide. But the question is the following. Jhon, I was so scared because Jhon told me a nightmare that he feel that somebody punched a knife on her back, and he kind of like walked. It was like a lucid dream, asking for help, and he remembered that dream watching your short film House, but also he has watched your short film Visions. The question from you and from the grants are the Workmans are, how can dreams help us? I don't know, to create dreams can help us to not write stories, but to get like personal visions. I don't know, just to create this kind of stories. It can be like a normal question, but you can attach it from these short films, House and Visions, and both of you talking about if somehow the dreams help you to write these amazing stories. But first with Jhon, House and Visions and the dreams.
It's a strange question because I honestly I don't remember my dreams. I remembered maybe 4 pieces of dreams I've had my entire life, and I've done all these exercises to try to remember them and this and that, and I just do not remember my dreams for whatever reason. I know that I read that Stephen King gets most of his ideas from his dreams, so I really kind of feel like I'm missing out on something. but I just don't remember them. And so most of the things that I come up with are things I've read or heard or just imagination outside. I mean, I pretty much spend every day daydreaming anyway, so maybe that's why I don't remember my dreams. But yeah, but dreams are fascinating, and that's, you guys have really done your homework and dug far back if you're finding out visions. Those are some old short films, but still some of my favorites. So.
No, in fact, Jhon and myself, we are like indie filmmakers here in Colombia, and short film is like a way of life, not for winning money, for showing our art. But now with both you, Grant, and Mary, there is somehow the dreams has helped you to forge your histories, or how do you use the dreams? I don't know.
I don't dream about our characters.
Wow.
The characters come from here.
Jhon, increíblemente, te lo resumo todo. Jhon ni siquiera recuerda sus sueños, y todos esos personajes tan increíbles, ellos no sueñan, todo está acá. I remember a beautiful phrase from a writer. I don't remember the writer. It says, I don't got nightmares. The nightmares leads with me. Like, I remember that beautiful phrase. Jhon, sigue, qué día tan increíble.
Yo estoy hypeado, yo estoy disfrutando esta gran noche porque eso me hizo recordar a Bagay de Ron, por favor. Yo quiero saber, Ron, ¿por qué Bagay en leyenda urbana en el cine se considera una contraparte de una historia que nunca salió? O sea, es decir, es una historia que trata sobre el misterio, pero que a la vez el misterio nunca ha sido descubierto. Eso es la leyenda urbana que siempre surge en plataformas, en grupos de cine, y hablan sobre esto. Entonces yo pensé, algún día tendré que visitar a Ron y decirle.
It's true, all the urban legends that are attached to your work to the movie Baggage, because they say that it comes from like a urban legend or somehow. Tell us more about this, and of course about your role in Baggage. Sorry.
Baggage was a bit of a weird film, actually. It was a weird film. I don't actually. It's one of those films that had a dream sort of element to it. And I suppose in a way, if I was to put it in a way, it's become like that with me, the whole experience. It's almost otherworldly with Baggage. I don't remember too much of being in the making of it, so much as floating through the experience, which I think was probably the right sort of way to look back on it when I think about it, because the film had that quality about it, about just this weird sort of situation going on when this guy can't come to terms with what's going on around him. And to be quite honest, I don't remember too much about that film. Maybe that was one of those films where the filmmaker's dream actually spun its web very well and captured everyone in that dream, and just took us along for a bit of a ride and dumped us at the other end, and with very little actual memory of what the hell we just did. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That answer is like connected with the other answer. Jhon, es que es increíble. Ron recuerda esta experiencia como estar dentro de un sueño. Dice que lo sintió, que lo vivió, y que de hecho partió de un sueño esa historia. Con eso te dije todo, mi amigo.
Por favor, yo quisiera, bueno, para mí, como poder culminar preguntándole, no solo del futuro proyecto, obviamente, de Jhon, que sabemos es Deafening, Silence, Keepsake, Vexed, pero yo quisiera preguntarle sobre Jhon, defina en una palabra Games of Chance, ¿por qué es importante? Y a Ron, Crooked Business.
Okay, first with Jhon. Like an ending, I know this is the most crazy, amazing interview I had been. It was unexpected, but we know that you got some projects ahead. We know there are the Deafening Silence, Keepsake, and Vexed. You can talk about them later, but defining in one word, your movie. Okay, Jhon, ¿cómo es la película? Disculpa.
La de Ron,
Jin.
la de Jin, Games on Chains.
Sorry. Defining one word, gains or changes.
Games of chance. Comedic. It's a dark comedy. I mean, it's not a horror film at all. Yeah, it's one word. Quirky.
Okay, and now with you, my friend Ron, we know that we are waiting from the contents, yes, but define in one word of why people should watch Crooked Business.
Possessive.
Australia.
I don't know.
Australia. I think it holds the record for the most swearing of an Australian film, in an Australian film. It is just, in Australia, when we're being very Australian or celebrating it, we just go, Australia. So, because we cut everything short. And to me, Crooked Business is just Australia. Yeah, it just captures Australia very well.
I love this kind of data. And it's crazy because this reunion will be, I don't know, it was on not today, but on Sunday. Morgan Bradley will be here. You worked with her. Yes. Ya le dije que mañana viene Morgan. Okay, I will translate. I love this kind of data. It's great to know that this film got a lot of swearing. So, Jhon, es que es increíble. Crooked Business, al parecer, y parece que hay un dato ahí, es una película con más groserías, creo que el Reino Unido.
Sí. Tiene como un récord Guinness, si no estoy mal.
Y dos, claro, sobre la película de Jhon, es un humor, pero ultra negro. Jhon and Ron, Jhon loved your definition about these projects. Ok, ¿qué sigue? Dime, mi amigo.
Por último, para terminar, que por favor Jhon nos adelante no solo de Deafening Silences, sino también, obviamente, Ron nos adelante de Contents.
Okay, Jhon, I know you got a lot of projects going ahead. You can talk something about Vexed, Keepsake, but Jhon wants to know more about what when you away somehow from the Deafening Silence. And yes, Ron, be prepared because you had to tell us a little something about the contents, what we can expect. But Jhon, go ahead.
The Deafening Silence is a project we're still trying to get off the ground. It hasn't been made yet. We shot like one little test scene for funding stuff. We just finished like a week ago, wrapped my 5th feature. It's called Keepsake. So that's in post along with Lone Time, which we're finishing up right now. Just met with composers the other day to get that done. And the film right before that, it's now called Seize the Night. The distributor changed the name. It was originally called Carpe Noctem. Just came out on Wednesday. So we just Deadline just did a big article on that. So that one's out. Not a horror film at all. It's a drama, but that's available now on streaming, at least here in the US. I don't think it's been released overseas yet or anywhere outside the US, but it's streaming on demand here in the US right now. So
what was the name changed to?
They changed it to the English version to Seize the Night. It used to be called Carpe Noctem, which is Carpe
Diem, Carpe Noctem.
But they changed it. They said it would sell better if they had the English version, so they changed it to Seize the Night. So, but it's out there. It just came out and on demand for now.
I think Ron and myself prefer Carpe Noctem, but somehow I watch it. I will say that I know the word from you, the director. By the way, congratulations about Keepsake. It's great to know about your first feature, man.
Yeah, I'm really upset they changed the name as well. It just kind of feels a bit, I don't know, intellectually diminishing a little bit. But a lot of especially on our level, the distributors have the right to do that. Change the name, change the poster, change the artwork, to make it their sales better. So hopefully, it's kind of takes place in like the dark goth underworld of LA from sundown to sunup. Boy meets girl, adventure happens.
Wow. And Ron, about what can you tell us a little bit about the contents?
Yeah, that's a film by the two Shanes, Shane Armstrong, Shane Krause. Good little horror film. Again, another one of these Brisbane independent films. With some really good casting as well. Melanie Zanetti, who I don't know, you would know the animated show Bluey over there.
Yes.
It's that kid one with the dog.
Yes.
Well, Melanie is the mother, the mother dog. She voices that, and she's the star of the film. Basically about a girl revisiting her family home to pack it up and put things to an end, but the history of what took place or possibly took place in the house, and the role her father played in it, and that's me, is what comes, I suppose, more apparent as the film goes on. Tight little piece, great working on it as well, because I did half the film in this prosthetic mask, which was really disturbing because it took so long to get on and off, but I also had a live maggot glued to the eye here on the mask. And of course, what I didn't realize, and none of us realized, is when you're in the latex mask, you can actually see the shadow of the maggot moving, and you can hear this little so creepy. And then there's that whole trauma when you knew the maggot had died, this maggot that had been stuck, and it's died. And then you got the whole empathy thing. Here I am playing this ghost of this father, and I've got this dying maggot, and I'm getting depressed about the fact that this maggot dying on my face. So I'm sort of mourning not so much what my daughter's going through as the fact that I've got a maggot dying on my face being filmed for the world to see. But yeah, I don't know if it died. I didn't try to resuscitate it or anything, but
I hope not.
Hey, if it had been Bear Grylls, we would have eaten it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it was yours. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the final product, the finished product. I think it's going to be quite a spooky little film, actually. Yeah, the Shane Krause had a very clear picture on what he wanted from it, and yeah, I think it's going to be a tight little piece. Actually, I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Good horror film, I think.
What's the name, Ron?
The contents.
Contents.
Yeah.
Jhon, déjame decirle esto, Ron. Ron, before I don't know, we wrap up, I promise to translate everything. Don't worry, got good memory. And of course, from Eugene, in fact, Jhon made one dream come true. I really wanted to ask you about 7 Days in Mexico. So knowing about that was great. But Ron, I have to, you have to forgive me at the beginning from this aspect of not remembering you, because it was unexpected, man. I feel so great about Jhon because you got an amazing career. I mean, you had work with Jeffrey Rush, with all these great actors, with John Cusack in one of the Chronicles of Narnia. But I feel so great about Jhon that he decided to showcase the aspects of these movies that some people will consider tiny, and no, they are great movies.
Yeah,
it was great to have you here, man. You forgive me for the first thing that happened, but I am so blessed. Of course, Jhon, thank you so much. It was unexpected. You had to know the truth before you log on. There was wrong here, but of course I was reading the agenda, and I didn't know that he was going to be logged. So I was like, that's not Jhon, and that's not Grant and Mary. But I feel so blessed about this interview because it's great to know it's the first time in the channel. We got people from like different backgrounds talking about their arts. And by the way, I feel so happy. Of course, I feel happy to have both of you, Mary and Grant, here. You are part now of the family. We are part of the guy now. You are part from the channel. And I really wanted to say thank you for all of you, and sorry for all the messiness.
I appreciate anyone that's interested and has any interest in anything I do. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Ron, you forgive me? Yes.
Oh, you're totally forgiven, young fella. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
No, it's great. It's been a pleasure, and it's been great. I just listening in on what Grant, Mary, and Jhon was saying, and just the learning about their careers as we're going. It's been very enlightening for me as well. Been very, very nice, very good experience. Thank you.
And we become like the ambassadors from their work. They got amazing boots, man.
You guys really, I don't know how you watch as many films as you do to be up, you're asking me about stuff that I'm sort of going, wow, I don't even really remember that experience. But,
Jhon,
these guys
Jhon
tucked away in
entendió.
Colombia watching all these short films from around the world is beautiful. It's beautiful.
No,
what time is it, Ron, real quick? What time is it in Australia?
It's about, what is it? It's nearly midday, so nearly a glass of wine at lunchtime.
So it's Sunday for you.
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Morgan,
Jhon and I and Mary are in Los Angeles, and it's just about 6 o'clock
On Friday.
Yes.
Or on Saturday.
Saturday. You don't
We-
say Friday.
here is like 9 p.m. from Saturday. Jhon, where are you?
I'm in LA. I'm in Los Angeles.
He's in
Oh,
LA.
LA?
Yeah.
And we are here in Cúcuta, Colombia. No, Jhon, yo te felicito.
No,
Yo creo que tú entendiste
yo
todo.
quisiera darle un aplauso a todos.
Bravo, bravo, you.
No, gracias.
Yeah, and say hello to Morgan for me tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jhon, by the way, I was hoping somehow that Johnny will appear, but tell Johnny. In fact, I feel so sad because I invite two friends from Mexico. They were so excited, but I don't know if their schedules meets, but telling that they really love him. They love him in all Latin America, but in Mexico, everything that you hear about him is real. They freaking love them.
I'm sure. I mean, he didn't respond right now, but I'm sure we can set up another Zoom. He'd be more than happy to jump on and talk about it. We did a whole string of stuff in Mexico when the film first came out, so I'm sure he would jump on and do another one. Just you guys try to get in touch with me. We'll set it up.
Jhon, parece que está Jhon Indovina acá.
Oh.
Ron, I will send the hi from Morgan, but have you here will be great. And of course, Grant, Mary, you are lovely and awesome. But Jhon, ¿qué vas a decir?
Yo quisiera decir una frase como referencia, como despedida antes de que nos despidamos todavía. Me sentí tan nostálgico cuando Ron hizo Medivac y me sentí tan potente cuando Jhon hizo Vendetta.
This is a beautiful way to end this. Jhon feel so nostalgic, like when he saw Medivac from Ron, but so energetic, like he saw Vendetta from Jhon. Jhon, by the way, it's amazing the whole thing that you are doing, this whole series and YouTube. You are pretty active, man.
You guys have dug deep to find some of that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's some really early short films. I mean, we haven't, the past 5 films have all been features, so I haven't had a chance to jump in on shorts or series again. But you guys are digging deep, man.
Yeah.
Like Ron said, like that first question threw me off because I was like, wait a minute, what? The very first short film?
Yeah, where have you guys come from? How do you know about this?
It's crazy because Mary and Grant know the history. I wasn't part of the channel, and Jhon called me. Jhon only saw me one time when I was publishing my book. I'm a writer, and he was like, "Andres, do you wanna be on the channel? I need a translator." And just sure. And when I saw what he got in the channel, I mean, he's able to manage something like this. Oh my God. No. Thank you so much, Jhon. No sé qué más vas a decir.
No, que por
La
favor.
foto.
Sí, la foto y que
Ah,
dejen
yes.
sus redes sociales cada uno.
Jhon, please give us your social media so people can follow you, and later on do the same. And of course, Mary and Grant, always give us all the information that you had always said, but say it all the time because I really want the people read these beauties. But Jhon, start with you. Social media.
It's pretty much just my name, Jhon Blalock, on pretty much all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, or you can follow Seraph Films, SERAPH FILMS. That's the production company. So either one of those, pretty much across all social media, you can find it. So,
Ron?
I don't do social media. I mean, I've got a Facebook page, but I don't do Instagram and Twitter and all of those sort of things. I'm a bit of a dinosaur.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
No,
yeah,
that's-
well, that's the other thing. It's like computer games. I don't want to get dragged into it. I don't want my life revolving around putting up pictures and following comments. I much prefer to live in the here and now as opposed to the there and then. So I've just got a Facebook.
Habit forming, believe me, it's habit forming.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you talk to Morgan tomorrow, like she was talking to me about, what's your social profile? And I'm sort of going, my social profile.
Why do you care? Why do you want to know?
Yeah, it's like, how many people do you reach? And I sort of,
But how will I know what you had for dinner last night? I have no idea what you had for dinner last night.
Grant and Mary, please, like all the time, where social media, where people can find these books. Go ahead.
You can put our name in the computer, do a search on Grant Workman, Amazon.com, our books will come up. Mary Workman, Amazon.com, the books will come up. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. We have our website. There's even a link if you want to follow Jhon. There's a link on our website that you can follow his Sarah Films that on the front page there. So, because it's been great working with Jhon. He did amazing trailer for our vampire line.
It's also on YouTube.
And it's on YouTube. You can
With
find
our
it
friend, Tina Bell.
It's an
the
awesome
beautiful
trailer.
Anna.
Awesome
Yes.
trailer.
Yes, he did the trailer with Tim Abel and Anna Easton, which you met yesterday. And Tim, you did the interview that introduced us to you guys.
Yes.
So, and
Jhon,
Miss Kelly, it's very interesting to hear what you've been doing, and we're going to look into you more.
We can't find you on IMDb.
Yeah, I'm there. Looking
We'll
like
find
the photo up there is a sultry, sexy sort of photo. So you probably didn't recognize it.
Sultry 60s. Is that you
Sexy.
on IMDb?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Jhon, this is a surprise because yes, I wanted to bring my friends. They are not here, but I know that you all will be here soon. But I didn't expect it. Send a hi to Hilary Roa. She's a fan of your work, man.
Hi, is she on?
Hilary, no. She asked us the favor to you send it hi so we can send it in a video. Hilary Roa.
Hi, Hillary. Thanks for everything. I appreciate it very much. So,
Ron, really watch Vampire Line and watch 7 Days in Mexico. That's an amazing documentary. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And the picture. We're going to take a picture with my babies.
Ahí sí. One moment.
Your baby.
Okay.
How about our babies?
Yes, no, I adopted now. I say my babies because believe me, I take care from them. And what I love about
Glad
this,
you're enjoying them.
We're starting to work on volume 3.
yes. No, yo no sé qué más quieres decir. Yo estoy feliz.
Pues muchas gracias a Ron por esta oportunidad. Gracias por concedernos el espacio. Fuiste muy amable. Lo mismo a Jhon. Jhon, la verdad, su trabajo para nosotros es increíble. Y Gran Mary, gracias. También gracias por existir. Y no, la verdad, espero que le haya gustado. No sé. Por favor, muchas gracias.
Okay, Jhon is telling that he hoped that you enjoyed this. It was crazy, like, and so unexpected, but like we say, thank you, Ron, for being here. Yes, it's crazy to have you here because I know about that you don't use more about the social media, but it's great to know about your amazing work. Jhon, thank you for having it. Believe it, man, your work is so beautiful and people are enjoying it. And of course, Mary and Grant, you are always welcome.
Okay.
thank you for having us. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Nice meeting everyone.
Cheers,
Bye,
guys.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
A big hi from Jhon Indovina, please.
Get in touch with me. We'll set it up for sure. So,
Okay, bye-bye.
bye.
Bye
See you later.
bye.
Bye.